Well, welcome to another Cutting Edge show. I'm Omar Neal, one of your hosts of this wonderful show. I'm the former mayor of Tuskegee, Alabama, as well as the host of the You Got the Power show. This program is being brought to you in part by the University of Maryland School of Public Health. And today we're going to be focusing on this notion of the cutting edge, where we discuss all things wellness, COVID-19 and beyond. We talk about the issue of weight and obesity a lot, but maybe we don't really delve deeply into it. Well, we're going to have a deep dive into the issue of obesity, the silent killer, a wake-up call. We got some wonderful guests for us today. We got Dr. Yvonne Sanders Butler. We have Dr. Margaret Huda uh, Hu, Huda Hugoria. And then we have Dr. Norma L. Dawkins. Hopefully, everybody will be here with us. This is an absolutely incredible show today. We're going to really move into spaces that are sometimes uncomfortable but necessary to talk about. You know that one is let me do this. This is Black History Month.
There
In
you
fact,
go.
it's the only show that we're doing this month. And so, as always, we like to recognize, not just uh, discover the contributions of African Americans, but to celebrate them. When we look at Carter G. Woodson, Dr. Carter G. Woodson, starting out with Black History Week, moving
Hmm.
to Black History Month, it was the celebration of the contributions of African Americans. So we will continue along that line to celebrate and to appreciate the contributions of African Americans. Now I can say, I don't do this by, by myself. I do it with this brother from another mother, Dr. Stephen B. Thomas. We call him Dr. T amongst these parts. He's a professor at the University of Maryland School of Public Health and director for the Maryland Center for Health Equity. He's my co-host here on The Cutting Edge. And ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming my brother from another mother, my co-host, Dr. Stephen B. Thomas. Hey, Dr. T, how you doing, man?
Mayor, you know it's always good to be in the same space with you. And can you believe the week we've just come through? Uh, you and I just took this show
Hmm.
into a classroom in Minnesota.
Yeah,
Dr.
absolutely.
Michael Osterholm's graduate classroom. Was that amazing or what?
It was absolutely extraordinary, Doc. Thanks for the opportunity to do that. I thought about it. I said, as we have navigated many spaces and nipped in many subject matters to go into actual classrooms, I think most of the people were PhD
That's
students
right.
and doctors and all of that to have this kind of candid, authentic conversations with them. With one of our friends, Big Mike,
There
Dr.
you go.
Michael Osterholm, was just a pleasure, man. Really,
you,
really a pleasure.
you know, it was interesting to see how, you can't get your degree without going through that class.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
Okay. So you know how they look up to him. But when the Warriors came on and could call him Big Mike in his class, he just lit up. He just lit right up.
Well,
And
you
some of
told
our,
them until we give you a nickname, you ain't really in the team.
there you go.
So
And
he
so,
feels that is a sense of endearment, right?
indeed, and we'll meet some of the Warriors tonight who were in that class and really made it a life-changing experience. I'm not making that up. He sent a nice email and said students came up to him and said it was the best class they'd ever taken at the university. All right, now here we go.
Wow. Did we land on the moon or something too? I
We
mean,
just
I
did.
see
Just
when I
did.
see Meg Jordan, our technical director, man, we were watching the lunar landing, uh, uh, the people who were broadcasting it in the command center,
There you
and
go.
you would have thought the Super Bowl was won when they they announced that they had a signal and had landed on the moon.
Mm.
Meg Jordan was like cheering like
There you go.
nobody's business.
She's keeping us on
She said
there.
50 years ago I wasn't here, so I got a chance to witness it myself right before the show, the lunar landing on the moon,
There you go.
for the second time in 50 years, for the first time in 50 years, for the
That's right.
second time. Totally. So, you know, kudos
There you
to
go.
everybody who were a part of that. That is monumental. And to say that we experienced it right before
There you
the
go.
cutting edge show makes this really, really special.
All right. Well, let's snap the specialness right now. Let's just snap. And
Huh?
that's it.
Yeah,
Let's just
yeah,
snap the
absolutely.
science.
I
It's
mean,
all about
that's real
science.
special, you
That's
know,
right.
that's real special, and you will really understand the gravity of it later on as time
Absolutely.
progressed. That where we were when this happened. We talked about, you know, and we always talk about us. You know, we always in front of the camera,
That's right.
but the people, the people behind the scene, the team behind the scene, really make this show work. Headed up by Meg Jordan, our technical director, Saraya Khan, social media coordinator, and Elijah Pugh Jr., sound designer. And you know, the point of the matter is, it takes a team. In
Yes.
we say oftentimes, teamwork make the dream work, right?
Mm.
And that's what this is all about with the cutting edge. Well, you can catch us on all of the social media networks and platforms from Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and others. And of course, make sure that you like, subscribe, and share this show. It's always something that is of benefit to you. And we also have a newsletter that comes out each and every week that archive our show. So if you miss the show for some reason, right, you can always get it on the newsletter. So make sure you subscribe to the newsletter. And also, wonderful articles are also shared with you concerning issues that really matter, particularly as it relates to COVID-19 health and beyond, right? So all
Yeah.
of those things are what we work on. Well, Dr. T, this is absolutely an incredible show. You know, I want to set this show up with a conversation with you. Is that okay with you,
Okay.
sir? All right.
It's a good place to
You know,
start. We're talking about
you
obesity. And
right, right.
anytime you put the word killer in the same sentence, okay.
Yeah. You know, I came up with that title, and I had to think about it. You know, for something as pervasive as the issue that we're going to talk about today, you have to be delicate, but yet and still
Yes.
honest, right?
That's right. That's right.
You know, you talked about it all the time. You said we can't be shaming people, shaming and
No.
blaming, right?
Shame and
Right,
blaming don't work.
right, right. So we want to make sure that we made it constructive, but not judgmental, right? That we all deal with different things in our lives, but
Yes.
it is of critical import that we are honest about the fact that to be obese or to be overweight can have an adverse effect on your health. Is that is
Absolutely.
that is that pretty cool to say it that way, Doc?
You know, uh, the data is clear. It's been clear. Obesity is a common risk factor for the leading causes of death. And we've now combined it in what we call cardiometabolic risk. And so when you look at life expectancy, uh, the leading causes of death are related to hypertension, uh, diabetes, uh, and these are all associated with weight and being overweight. One of the things we're going to hopefully learn about tonight is the difference between being overweight and being obese.
Hmm.
It's the obesity side. And you have class one, class two, and class three obese. We'll talk a little bit about that just to help people know that um, it does make a difference to know your body mass index and to
Yeah,
monitor your weight.
yeah.
It's not easy. Now, on the shame and blame piece, Mayor,
Hmm.
because we have a whole lot of judgment in this country simply by looking at people. And there's been a lot of shaming and blaming. And a lot of that is going away. You got the whole Dove commercials where you have regular size women or people. So, so let's help people understand the difference between just being big boned and healthy,
Right.
healthy and fit, and obese that could actually reduce your life expectancy.
Well, some people look at that in particular cultures as being, healthy, you right? And people,
Mm,
in fact, they use it. They say, she's healthy, and I mean, so we have to be careful,
that's
careful
right.
about what we associate with health, right? Or what we associate with beauty, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of that has implications on how people feel about themselves, right? Their self-esteem, etc. So we got to deal really, really deep into this. Man, I got somebody that I'm telling you, man. I got somebody that you know how you bring your A game,
Mm,
right? Dr. Yvonne Butler, man, is with us today, man. I've
okay.
met Dr. Butler back when I was serving as the mayor of Tuskegee, Alabama. She came in and she was in the complex and she did a workshop there. I sat in her workshop and she absolutely unequivocally blew me away. I knew then that Dr. Butler was going to be one of my best friends in the whole United States world kingdom, henceforth and forevermore. Right? I knew that she is such a powerful, beautiful spirit. Dr. Butler is a former principal of Browns Mill Elementary, a discipline based art education and magnet school in Lithonia, Georgia. She came up with this thing of a sugar-free zone program. And
Sugar
she
free.
actually, and man, she did a study on it. She was able to quantify, brother, how when you reduce the sugar intake amongst children, the whole lot of good outcomes come as a
Okay.
result of that. And
Okay.
so her work is clear, it's scientific, it's not anecdotal, it is real. And so, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming my friend, a sister from another mister, Dr. Yvonne Butler. How you doing?
Here's how we bring you to the stage, Dr. Butler. We just snap you up. Snap, snap, snap.
Snap me up. Good evening. It's good to be here with my one of my besties.
Absolutely. It's
um,
so good to see you, Dr. Butler. I
it's
mean,
been a while.
wonderful.
It's been
Thank you
a
so much.
while.
It's been a minute. Yeah.
And this subject is it's very near and dear to me because I guess from the time that I can remember I was a addict, and people think that it's just drugs.
Hmm.
Foods are just as dangerous, except probably if I had been on drugs or alcoholic, I would have been committed to some medical facility. But, I'm from the South, from Mississippi, and, food is everything. It's family, it's fellowship. And that was important, but I was addicted, I guess, to chocolate milk cookies when I was third grade, maybe second grade. I was really getting high. And that continued throughout my adult life. And I would have never created this program, but I actually was working on my doctorate in Sarasota and I almost had a stroke. I was burning the
Wow.
candle at both ends. I was an administrator, a mother. My son was a athlete, and just trying to do it all. But I also have a history in my family of hypertension, um, heart disease, and when people think about people being overweight or obese, it also has to do with stress.
Yes.
Well, that is also hereditary. And
Yes.
most people eat on the run. You don't really get a chance to cook up 2 meals a day, breakfast, even though I was up at 4:30 in the morning preparing breakfast, dinner, because I didn't know what time I would get back. And it just sort of caught up with me.
Hmm.
And I actually was in Sarasota, and I thank God I was there, because if you've been to Sarasota, it's a retirement town. Only
Yes.
people were in the emergency room, and I thought I had pink eye, and actually I was threatening a stroke. Uh,
Wow.
but because it's a wealthy area, they didn't even take my insurance card. They just took me right on in, and
Wow. What a blessing.
Wow.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And
You-
this
you-
doctor, by the time they finished, he said, "Well, you know that usually when Black women have a stroke or have a heart attack, it is over.
Mm.
wow.
When it is over." And
Wow.
he said, white male, white females, even Black males, but not Black females. He said, you all are at you all level of stress, obesity work is the highest level, and you don't take care of yourself.
Mm.
So I wanted to slap him like 20 ways, but he saved my
Right.
life, so I didn't do that.
You
But
know, man.
it was very difficult though, because I had a true addiction. And I couldn't even fly back on the plane the next day because he said the pressure from the cabin would kill me.
Wow.
So I actually went back and I joined a program like AA.
Okay.
It was Overeaters Anonymous.
Okay.
And I was angry for at least 30 days that I was there, because I said, first of all, I'm educated. I'm not like these people in here. I'm not supposed to be in here. And, I just sat there and just listened, because if you've ever been to OA or AA, you don't have to say anything.
That's right.
And they were so happy. They were losing weight. And I was angry and saying, I'm not coming back here. In the second meeting, I did like all addicts do. I tried to stop at a convenience store to get some Hershey bars. And I almost got hit by an 18-wheeler.
Whoa.
So you go get something to drink on the way to
Exactly. Exactly.
That's analogous to that, right?
Right.
Yes,
Right.
it is so, and people don't realize that. They actually think, oh God, I know they could lose weight, or, why are they that big? But I dieted all the time. I spent a lot of money. I have every video, every book, every diet pill. We used to go to Alabama because you could get diet pills over there, Mayor.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't work. Everything worked for 6 weeks. And
Right.
it's your own private world. No one knows that. And so it finally worked, because prayer, I think both of the ladies that were my mentors, one graduated from high school and one didn't graduate, but they helped me to save my life.
Okay. All
And
right.
for that, I'm eternally grateful. And
Yeah.
so I was principal of an elementary school, and I saw myself in all those children.
Okay.
Right.
I was like 15 miles from New Birth. No, not 15, maybe 7. Very high scale neighborhood. Everybody made more money than I did, and I was making 6 figures. I thought I was doing good. I had every gospel singer over there, the quarterback for the Falcons, just name them. So it wasn't your average neighborhood, but the education wasn't there.
Okay.
They could go out and eat, they had money, but their academic scores were sluggish. And I
Wow.
said, I've just come out of Title I school, a real Title I school with
Mm.
games and everything.
Mm-hmm.
That your parents work at CDC, you work at Emory, you're at Morehouse. So what's happening? You have access, you have money, and it is killing you.
Wow.
And if you don't make a gain in a new school like that, then you're going to be fired the next year. They're going to call you in and you're gone. That's so, since I'm going to be fired anyway,
Wow.
let me take a shot at it. And I actually, my school PTA president was from Morehouse. He was like 6'5", maybe 290, and he had 3 sons.
Okay.
Dr. Butler, I want to set this up because I know
Yeah.
exactly where you're
Sure.
going, because there are a
Yeah.
lot of people who don't know this, because you made a lot
Sure.
of salient points. One is you were able to extrapolate from your environment that there
Sure.
was something was not matching up. You got
Yes.
all of these people, got all
Yes.
these resources, but
Yes.
yet instead their children were not performing in the
Yes.
classroom as you would think they
Sure.
would,
Sure.
given the environment, right?
Sure.
And so
Exactly.
you had to deduce that there was something happening that maybe you had not looked at,
Sure.
right? Right. And that's when you came up with this brilliant idea to do something with that school.
Yes.
Now go from there.
Well, basically, I observed that they really didn't eat any vegetables. They brought their lunch. It was basically sugar, high carbs, and after lunch, nobody wanted to teach reading or math because they went to sleep. And so I knew it was diet, and I had 1,200 children, but I had 400 slips for not going outside for exercise.
Wow.
So the two
Hold
things.
up,
You mean
the parents
parental
told them not
permission?
to go out for exercise. Is what
Well, the kids said that it was too hot, that the air bothered them. They didn't want to exercise because they didn't do anything at home and they didn't want to do it at school. And
So did the parents have to agree to that? You say the slips, meaning how did
oh,
they get the
well, they went to
slips?
the doctor and they got slips for them not to go outside for
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So no research recess. Man, I went to school for recess.
not
That was
them.
my favorite class. Recess. Shoot.
Omar.
Hold up. I had two
Wait.
favorite classes, lunch and
And
recess. This was
recess,
my
yeah.
two favorite ones. Go
So
ahead.
the whole environment contributed to
Yes.
letting people out of physical activity,
Yes.
and yet access to all the things that. And now
Everything.
you're going to tell us what you went after.
Well, basically, I went after, well, basically, you had to convince this core group of people that basically controlled things to say, well, we want to remove some things from the school lunch. You know, we want to remove all the processed sugar. We don't want to do any more frying. We don't want to add sugar. I wanted to remove Coca-Cola, and I did
In Atlanta area?
in Atlanta.
Did you need to be on the what they call it protection? What they
Oh,
call
oh
it?
yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. I
With
didn't know that
what
then,
they
but I knew
call
it now.
what they call it when
Oh,
people are the witness protection?
that's right. You saw what happened to Oprah when she went after hamburgers.
Oh well, it was some of
Man,
the
in
it was
Atlanta talking
it
about
was
no Coca-Cola. Come
no
on.
Coca-Cola. And
What's wrong
so
with you? You done
basically,
lost your mind?
but people love their children. And
Yeah,
Okay.
I did
got
it.
it.
We had a PTA meeting and I actually had like 160 kindergartners. And so I did a slide and every third child I removed it. I just put a black spot. And I said, do you all know that if we don't change our children's diet to be healthier and get exercise, that in the next 10 years, they will either be obese, suffering from the diseases that obese cause, or they will be dead. And they didn't shoot me. They just started like,
Mm.
who's the third? You know, they didn't know any of the kids. I just had children's pictures.
Okay.
And they were saying like, the third child could be my child.
Right.
Mm. Okay.
Wow.
And that was it. That was the hook. And
Wow.
Right.
then we just went in and we just flipped it. We flipped nutrition, everything.
Everybody was on board.
Well, we had to get the kitchen people, cafeteria people on board.
Right.
Because you know
All
they love
right.
everybody and they want all us to be happy and everything is going to be a cake of pie or extra. Took chocolate milk out,
Mm.
dairy out.
Took
We
the
brought
wait, back up on the dairy. You took what out? The
dairy
dairy?
out,
All the dairy out.
all the dairy out.
They were serving whole milk in the school.
In every school, strawberry milk, orange milk, chocolate
Mm.
milk,
Mm.
ice cream, Sundays, the ice cream truck came through, all of that.
And then they had vending machines with
They had vending
candy
machines.
and cookies and
Took
all of
those
that.
out. I said, unless you can provide me healthy alternatives, I need you to take machines out. And they
Wow.
did. Well,
Wow.
we were going through changing superintendents. And so went to the superintendent that I knew that was going out and he gave me permission.
Right.
And so the new superintendent was trying to find his way. But my biggest issue, the parents bought into it.
Okay.
We created a program. I ran it through the curriculum, through every subject, music, art, PE. It was in the curriculum.
Wow.
They received so many points when they went home. They walked with their parent, they played ball, whatever it was. And I went to all of the stores in our community within a 15-mile radius.
Mm.
And I asked the first Kroger's to order soy milk in
Okay.
Georgia for our kids.
Okay.
And so they thought it was really cool, but many of the people, USDA was the issue.
Okay. Let me say this because, Mayor, I'm just meeting Dr. Butler for the first time. Okay. You told me
No,
about it,
no, let me
but
say
I
this.
am telling
Spirits
you,
don't meet, they reacquaint, Dr. T.
I'm so glad to be reacquainted. And I want you to go back just a moment as I was looking at your bio. And that was the inclusion of the arts.
Yes.
Can you say something very specific about the role the arts played? What added value, if any, in this really innovative intervention?
First of all, we were one of 10 schools. Paul Getty gave us like $250,000 to only public schools, basically African American schools. And if children can't learn through the curriculum, math, or reading the traditional way, they can learn through the arts. And so just as we use discipline-based art education, all of the disciplines, to teach that, we use those disciplines as well for nutrition. And it worked, because even in art class, when they did their art, whether it was drawing or they were talking about textures, you talked about vegetables and fruits and other things. And if you couldn't be successful, I was a bad math student.
Wow.
I just couldn't get it. I'm a totally right brain person, and I was addicted. And so most kids are now right brain learners, not left brain learners, but right brain. So art gave them that support and that encouragement that, I can be successful too. I might not be the best math student the way that they learn. I had a magnet school within a school, so I had two groups of children.
Wow.
And so we just crossed the children over. All the kids that were maybe average, they were great athletes.
Okay.
The high achievers, not so much. But when you cross those kids,
yes,
it's perfect. So art was what gave them the freedom.
Okay, freedom.
And it gave them the freedom to be who they were and to grow. We had the best athletes, the best choir.
Wow.
We had children that were playing instruments at second and third grade. But let me just share this with you. And this is when I knew we were in trouble. I had 800 girls in that school.
Okay.
I had at least 4 first graders that had cycles.
Whoa. Just for
hold on. Go back and say that again.
Cycles. 4 first graders, and I had like 20 third graders
had
menstrual cycles.
Had menstrual cycles.
We keep stepping on it.
And so I've been in other schools.
Okay.
But it wasn't a study for me. Yes. And I wasn't the administrator. But these kids had to actually come to the nurse's office, and they were weighing something like 40-some pounds and 50 pounds.
Wow.
And it was a diet. And I had 134 kids on attention deficit medicine, other psychotropic drugs. When I left that school, I can tell you that wasn't the case. Girls were starting their cycles at 5th and 6th grade. No more first and second graders. We probably had like 10 children that were true attention deficit children.
Okay.
That sugar, I've hired a USDA nutritionist for my company.
Yes.
And that is when I learned that she said, Yvonne, you can actually get anything organic, anything that's not processed. I said, from where? She said, from USDA. And she sent me the list, and I just got with my cafeteria manager and started ordering the organic everything.
All right.
We have candy, sweet potatoes or candy yams in the school system today. I love it. 7 years for them. 7 years.
Well, so let me say this, Dr. Butler, you are extraordinary, and you know how I feel about you. So I'm biased. I have to say that, but she's absolutely extraordinary.
I'm a fan.
The fact of the matter is, Dr. Butler, Dr. T, she does not think out of the box. She throw the box away.
There you go.
She just tear the box
Don't
up.
try it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah. We gonna have this. We're gonna have this conversation. Let's bring up Dr. Ritter.
Yeah.
Dr. Carol Ritter.
As you're bringing her up, Dr. Butler, we want to have these conversations in the barbershops and the beauty salons to give people the tools they need to take action. They're ready. And in the show, we have our colleagues from the State Medical Society, MedChi, and Dr. Ritter. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Ritter.
Dr. Ritter, how you doing?
Hi, I'm good. I think I might have an unstable network, but
did you all know AT&T and Verizon and T-Mobile and all had a shutdown today? I mean, people were trying to call folk. They were going through DTs, Dr. Butler.
Yeah.
when people
Well,
can't when people can't use their
I
phone and
know.
social media, I mean, whatever they do, can't call
Exactly.
folk, they go through DTs themselves. All right,
So,
Dr. Ritter,
so
what's up?
yeah,
Tell the people about
yeah.
yourself. For those who are on a
very,
planet that not been around, they may not know you, but if you've been around the Cutting Edge show, then you know Dr. Carol Ritter. But for those people who may not know you, would you please introduce yourself, ma'am?
sure. Yes, I'm Dr. Carol Ritter. I'm an OBGYN, and I'm talking to you from Baltimore City, where I live and work. And I've been an OBGYN for several decades. So it's interesting when you talk about the puberty, and I see the menarche too. And I've been in this field for,
Tell us
oh,
what that means now.
oh,
Menarche.
okay, puberty is when a girl starts her period, and
Okay.
menarche is when a woman ends her period.
Okay. Both.
So those years in between, when we have hormones, are immensely affected by our diet.
Okay.
I've seen it in my career of 40 years. I started delivering babies in the 80s, and I believe this all started in the 70s with the subsidy of corn.
Okay.
I find this very, very interesting because sugar, as a chemist, I started as a chemist, there's a difference between cane sugar and corn syrup.
Okay.
Corn syrup is liquid, and cane sugar is solid.
Exactly.
And from a chemistry point of view, sugar is really sucrose. It's got a glucose and a fructose molecule. I'm getting really into the science here.
Yeah, and I'm going to ask you, is that a new dance?
Fructose,
And how we
fructose
find
is the poison.
I mean, hey,
and how we find it on the
Dr.
label.
T, woo!
How do we
No,
find
it
it
all
on
comes
the
down to
label?
a double bond. It all comes down to a
Okay,
double
go
bond,
ahead.
okay?
Go ahead.
Go
There's a
ahead.
double bond in the cane
Master
sugar,
class.
and there's not in the corn syrup, and that's why it's liquid. And so we can concentrate more sugar with liquid. You remember Chips Ahoy cookies?
Yes.
Yeah.
Chips Ahoy cookies, they tried to get more sugar in it, but every time they put more sugar in it, the sugar would granulate out, and it would be kind of rock hard and all this granules of sugar on the outside.
Okay.
Then came corn syrup, and it was liquid, so they could put more in, and then the cookie became really chewy, nice and chewy. And that's because the fructose is free in there from the glucose. And fructose, by the way, is poison. And it is what's killing us. So when I started delivering babies, the average size was 7 pounds, and 6.5 was normal. And then when I ended delivering babies in the early 2000s, 6.5 was small. I was delivering 9, 10 pound babies. I even delivered an 11 and a 12 pound baby because they get the sugar in utero through the diet. So you're behind the 8 ball before you're even born. Oh my gosh. So I've seen it, and fructose is really what the problem is.
Okay.
For many, many people, they don't know that it's in all processed foods because we have bushels and bushels and bushels and bushels of corn syrup. And the biggest distributor of processed food with corn syrup in it is our public schools.
Wow.
And there we get back to the children. We're killing our children with processed food in the schools. And I just honor you for recognizing that and doing something about that,
There you
Dr.
go.
Butler. That's amazing what you've been doing, and we need more education on this. Doctors need to go back to school to learn it too, because they don't even know anything about it if they haven't paid attention.
I want you all to help me out because we're not talking about obesity in the context of aesthetics, right? We're talking
Right.
about it in the context of health, right? How does being overweight, and Dr. Butler, help me out, and Dr. Ritter, I'm going to really need you to chime in. I'm elevating you to a panelist at this point. Got it?
Oh
So
dear.
you are part of us anyway, but you are now a permanent panelist in this one, okay? Because you got the power. You really understand this, okay? All right. How does being overweight kill you? With a lot of things can kill you, but what does weight have to do with death? Dr. Bell, I want you to answer that question for
Well, first of all, think about a child that's kindergarten weighing 80 or 90 pounds in their organs. First of all, that's a lot of stress, and they are aging much too fast. Uh, we've had kids that were fourth grade on diabetes medication, hypertension medication. Uh, I've been on
Wow.
hypertension medication for 40 some years now, and the side effects that it causes. But to say that a child that age has to be on hypertension, and many of our middle school kids are on high cholesterol medication now, that is so dangerous. And it can be controlled by diet, but if you look at your TV, social media, the millions, billions of dollars that these companies are putting out there. And then, as she said, the corn, that's the key.
Wow.
Corn syrup is to fatten cattle.
Mm.
But now, anything that you look at, read your label. It has corn syrup, whether it's salty or not. And so, when you think about it, the heart, we have kids that are getting pacemakers in high school.
Come on now.
Yes. Oh, yes.
I believe it.
So
True.
we're all describing a problem and saying, believe what you see in front of your eyes. We've heard this before about reading labels.
it.
Clearly, it's not going to go away. So how do we survive in an environment like this without shaming people and blaming people when it comes to their body size? And body image in this culture in particular matters.
Well, first of all, certain foods now that the FDA they wouldn't approve, or there weren't certain foods that they would approve to come in a school. Uh, the Lunchables.
Okay.
I could not believe that they approved Lunchables as a part of the school menu.
Tell me what Lunchables are, Dr.
Right.
Butler.
I can't believe
And what
it.
surprises you about it?
You tell me, give me what is
It's
Lunchable?
it's one of the most unhealthy snacks, but it's cheap. If you go in the store, it's in this bright orange little packet. It'll have something that says it'll have ham or it'll have cheese. It's a healthy snack. But I went in the store like in August because they rolled it out for this school year. And every refrigerator, I did a video of it. It was like 10. The standing ones, I said, what is going on? And then I went online and I saw that USDA Food and Nutrition had did a deal with them.
Wow.
So nobody's watching the store, and schools, especially high school, they're like fast food places. And all of, what they're putting in these prepared meals already prepped, it is dangerous. So in the South where I am, if I had great uncles who lived to be, they smoked Prince Alberts without a filter. They had bacon every morning. They had
Yeah.
biscuits every morning. They had chicken eggs, which they didn't die from the cholesterol. And then we had hogs. They killed those. They ate that. And so I'm saying, and we're not even talking about little corn whiskey.
Right.
But they lived to be 80 and 90. So, and they weren't overweight. And they didn't do a lot of work, So I'm saying, what's the difference?
Okay.
Ice cream. Just look at the ingredients of ice cream.
Now you know how many people you're making unhappy right now.
Yeah,
Well-
starting with you.
You don't have to be overweight to die. You can be unhealthy. I know a lot of people think not. They play tennis in the morning, they drop dead, that evening. So everyone needs to look at that. It's the food. And I just thought everybody was going to jump on this bandwagon and say, yay, Bon, this is great. Oh, God. We got Atlanta, Fulton County schools, at least 30 schools, 25,000 children, parents, and everything they did. We didn't celebrate Christmas, Valentine's Day. We didn't have parties. We celebrated life.
Okay.
They could bring fruit, any of those things. They could bring their parents, but you had to educate people. You just can't like right now, I think you heard that they're gonna use the NBA, NFL to fight childhood obesity. We did that 10 years ago.
Okay.
Shaq,
Celebrities.
celebrities.
Mm.
You know, they're looking cute and whatever. And Shaq did this whole, I don't know how much they paid him. They didn't pay me anything, but uh, he didn't lose any weight. And the kids, it has to be taught.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it could have been, but it has to come from the right person. And I kept hearing, why is she a principal and she's worried about this? Why is she worried about this? This isn't her lane. Stay in your lane. So much so until, I mean, my name was in Washington, and I'm saying, really, guys?
Right.
And it
Go
just,
ahead.
it's not what you think. The money that they give high schools for their scoreboards, uniforms, they give them millions and millions of dollars.
Okay.
To
Okay.
let Coke or whoever, Pepsi, um, it's
Now
hard.
that's real, and
Yeah.
supporting our schools is real, and we're looking at libraries that need help. And I can only imagine in all the doctor's offices that know that obesity and overweight is a risk factor are trying to explain or tell people. So it's not an unknown thing.
No.
How do you turn the corner? And can we bring some of the secret sauce, if there is any, into the barbershops and beauty salons to help our people make the behavior changes that are necessary? We think that's possible.
Well, I
You
think
think
it's
it's
possible. I do think it's possible, but the largest group of people, the younger the better. It will be school children, and they also go to barbershops and to beauty
that's right.
shops.
That's right.
But that is the environment where you have them spellbound. What can you do when you're at school but listen to someone? And that's why we use the school. And you
Yeah.
have to have strong leaders. And I had 20 strong principals, but they fought. Even though I had NIH study that said that this was the only school that had shown that healthy eating, exercise, changing diet had improved learning, weight gain. It was like gold. CDC was in my back door, and I started this in 1998. And somebody from NIH said, "Has CDC been to see you?" I said, "No." And I was on Peter Jennings' World's News Tonight, and it shut the phone lines down in my county. And in a month, 3 weeks later, Coca-Cola had 10 cars at my school.
You mean you threatened somebody? Powerful.
I guess I did because they fired me.
Well, let me say this. We recognize this now. You know, Dr. T. Now you know you know you starting something now. Now
Yeah.
you don't see. I know what you're
I'm
doing.
in the
Let me tell
barbershop
you this.
because
You know
that
this
happens
is
all
a
the time.
capitalistic society, and people give very little about individuals as long as they making capital, right? And and even forfeit their children, right?
I thought kids were off limits. I really
Right,
did.
right.
And
You
I
would think
did.
that children would be off limits, but
They're not.
even cigarettes were marketing to children,
Right.
and vaping and all of those things that even your children are not off limit. Bring up Dr. Cooper. I want to bring her in the mix, and all of my wellness warriors, get ready. Get ready. Put your cameras on for the people who are going to join us. Put your cameras on. I'm going to be calling you up one by one. Dr. Cooper, Dr. Butler getting my blood pressure high.
Don't do that. It should be rising because you're getting such informative information that you can spread the word rather and save lives. This is really compelling. And
Yeah.
I love the way that Dr. Butler is breaking it down so that we understand the science behind it all. Now, we read over and over again how our DNA of our community, how employment, how, fiscal or economic factors play a role in what we eat. And it boils down to, yes, what can families afford? And if you listen to these commercials like the Taco Bell, and at one group, it's a young group, and they're saying this was the only food we could afford. And when you went, especially with COVID, you were totally unaware of it. And the schools and what they were feeding the children. because it was the cheapest way. So how
Right.
can we, like you said, re-educate folks?
Mhm.
And so that they can understand the science and how it's all interconnected to health, short-term and long-term. The insurance companies are now getting a better understanding.
There you go.
They're
Mhm.
setting up programs, Real Appeal,
Mhm.
diet, and exercise programs because they understand there's a cost related to that. So we have to look at creative ways, not only through the barbershops in our communities, which that's their spirit of where we are and where we grasp and get our information, but we have to use that to advocate at a higher level with our political representatives.
That's right.
This is what we want. You are
Yeah.
in there in your office because of our votes. Now,
Yeah.
in order for us to maintain that longevity and erase some of this generational illnesses, help us by providing health literacy, the appropriate food, the appropriate education, the appropriate, economic, access to all other things, including food, addressing food insecurity in all other areas. This is really on point.
Yeah.
This is a challenge, not unique to any certain community.
That's right.
It's all
Right.
across. It doesn't discriminate.
It doesn't.
Right.
It does not discriminate.
But we
You know,
know so
one of the
much
things I wanted to talk about
that
was,
let me just say,
go ahead,
Omar,
Doc.
it's that we know so much. We're describing a lot of the problem.
Exactly.
And I don't know in a one-on-one situation where you're actually counseling someone, Dr. Ritter, like in your office, what's the most common pushback? How do you not be a nanny about don't do this, don't do that, and give people hope that they can actually navigate high-risk neighborhoods that they live in?
Yeah.
If we want them to eat better, what's the biggest pushback?
Well, biggest pushback is time
Okay.
and energy and working all day. And, do you have time to like go to the grocery store and get the right food and cook the right food? And do you have time to exercise? So it's really, we haven't made it feasible, real for people. We've made it an unrealistic expectation. When you say just, eat less and exercise more.
Right.
I mean, that's like a platitude to, say to you
Mhm.
that. But it really comes down to understanding now. For me, it's been more exercise that the women have been struggling with, because BMI is I honestly not a good indicator of obesity. It can, that's what's fat shaming. Because if you have a lot of muscle and your BMI is high, or if you have a lot of fat and your BMI is high because of a lot of fat, do you think that individual is the same health risk? No. So men and women have the same exercise recommendations and guidelines and the same BMIs. Does that make any sense to anyone?
So,
No.
so,
We
so
haven't
When
studied
you
it
use the
enough.
word
we're
BMI,
we're in the
Dr. Ritter,
public.
you need to be able to say what that means. I keep telling you all that you all use this terminology that you all know,
I
but everybody does not know. But I'm here to make sure that we put it where the cows can get it. Dr. Butler, that's how we do it here. Go
and
ahead, Doc.
let's bring up a visual aid, and this is a study that was done to try to understand what our perceptions are about body image. Okay, so I want everybody out there to take a look at these images. These individuals um, represent a range of body sizes and weights and BMIs. Okay, now do you find yourself there? What you think where you are?
You ain't got enough muscle for me, man. I don't know where y'all you didn't bring you, you don't have me in there, man. You ain't got no muscle, man.
But to make a long story short, when they asked people where they were on this scale, they found that many did not know the difference between being overweight and being obese. Okay, and it's in that obesity category that HIJ. Okay, now you're getting into body sizes and where the the fat or the weight is distributed matters. If it's around the girth, that's a bad sign. That's that kind of bad layer of fat. Now we can get into all of what this means, but the bottom line is this in this conversation is knowing the difference between being overweight and being obese. And you're absolutely right, Dr. Ritter. The BMI is a population-based measure, per 100,000 people. That's quite different than looking you in the eye or Dr. Cooper in the eye and saying your BMI is X, Y, or Z without other information. But I don't think we should throw it away because people do need to know the difference. And that again gets into shame and blame. How do we do this without shaming and blaming and give people the tools they need to actually take action in the context of energy and time? That is so real.
Yeah. One of the things we have to do too, Doc, is to look at the um, environment, right? And sometimes we overlook that in conversations, but if you would look in the African American community, and let's be clear on it, you find more fast food restaurants,
Yes.
less healthy options for eating in our communities in proximity to where we live, right?
Yes.
People are eating and living out of corner stores,
Right.
right? Not grocery stores, right? And as long as that is the case, then you're going to find it a disparity in these health issues because people don't have access to healthy eating. The other thing, and bring Gregory Rutledge Jr. up. I want to bring him into the conversation as well. Bring some guys in. Um, it, we allow for this kind of thing to happen in our community? Or why is it that the food that's the healthiest costs the most, and the food that is that's the unhealthiest costs the least? And you put that in proximity to poor people, which is where they can access it. That means and I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but that appears to be you know, I mean, it it's a no-brainer that these people are going to consume it because that's all they can do. Am I being hyperbolic? Is that oversimplifying, Mr. Rutledge?
No, I think that it is economically and systematically, put in place because I mean, you can only purchase what you can afford. Anything other than that is gonna be theft. But I mean, whatever you put a person, if you're hungry, you're gonna eat. The choices that you place in front of a person, then they're going to choose, especially when they're put in that position. So then, usually in that position, and for whatever reason, we seem to be placed with these choices, and yet our finances, seem to be that only what even allow, even with public assistance, that even with TAPS, whatever they call it, it only goes
They
so
don't even
far.
have food stamp now, Harley. You can hardly they give you $20 of food stamps for a month now.
Yeah. So to the gas station, and then the society makes it so acceptable. Once upon a time, you couldn't even use those cards in those convenience stores. You could only use them in grocery stores, and you had to get a certain product that was healthy. For where I'm not, where now what's those ingredients, but they were items that were design items. They weren't so much those processed items. You know what I mean? So now you go to a convenience store, you get a candy bar with an EBT card, because it's not hot. I guess that's the word that they use. And that's like adding fuel to the fire. You know what I mean? So I don't
Gregory,
think
could I
that.
say something real quick?
Yes.
I'm sweeping, but I'm listening to the conversation.
Now,
Another thing.
tell us who you are. Introduce yourself.
Oh, my name is Regina Taylor. I'm sorry. I'm on another initiative, but I'm just joining you all tonight. I'm from Chicago. I have a
I
salon,
love
Feminine
Chicago in the
Edge
house.
Barber Salon. and
Uh-huh.
I am at the end of my day on my way to Bible study and choir rehearsal. But another thing about those link cards, not everything that you all said is so true. Another thing is, though, that they have made it so some of these restaurants are accepting, like, we have here in Chicago these seafood boil places. And so you can go in there and you can use your link card and you can pay like $2 to get it steamed or whatever. So now you have younger people too who are with their link cards, and now instead of them going to the grocery store, they going to buy their kids crab legs on the Friday night, and they not even stretching their card like I used to know how to stretch mine when I was in my 20s. I wish I had one now.
You know,
I'm going back
thank,
on
thank,
mute.
thanks,
God bless y'all.
Regina. I appreciate you. Let's bring up Sandra Jenkins with us, and bring this in. Sandra, this notion, we've been talking about this. You've been working with people for many, many years. I want you to tell them who you are and where you are, and then chime in on this thing because everybody in has somebody in their family who we consider overweight, or somebody that they know we consider overweight. Oftentimes we don't say anything. We just kind of accept people for who they are because we don't want to do shaming. But we are finding out based on what Dr. Butler's saying, what Dr. Ritter's saying, Dr. Cooper and Mr. Rutledge, that this can be deadly. And so we need to be mindful and conscious and intentional about talking about people about weight without shaming them. And we got to figure out how to do that. So you talk to people about a lot of things because you be
That's
doing their
right.
hair and making them look good at naturalists and that kind of thing. So help me out. How do we talk to people about this where we're not shaming them,
Yeah.
but we're bringing them to a level of consciousness about health associated with weight?
Yes, Mayor Neal. First, I'm Sandra Jenkins, and I'm from the Philadelphia, Montgomery County region. My salon is Naturalist Hair, and we specialize in, organic hair care products and things of that nature. And we really take your hair and scalp is one most important to us. So that is what we do. But to hone into what you're saying, Mary Neal, my thing is subliminal messages. In my salon, I will maybe post something that will be of a message that will indicate, are you eating healthy today? What are you doing to achieve the healthiest hair texture you can possibly, achieve? These are the type of subliminal messages that will then encourage people to want to talk about their overall wellness first. So that's like an open door, to allow somebody to sit down and have those very, very one-on-one sacred conversations. So that is one key. And in regards to someone's weight, now this is a very sensitive issue. Me, years ago, I've never had a weight problem, but as I've gotten older, my body just started taking on a completely different, you know what I mean? And Mayor Neal, Dr. Thomas, I just love the visual aid that you had up there because I could see myself. I mean,
It worked. Everybody saw themselves up there other than me under the muscle man. They didn't have the muscle man.
so,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Come on.
yeah. So
Loosen up. Go ahead.
indeed, so that was really great. And those are the type, of materials that
Okay.
I feel that will really help,
Okay.
environment. Yes. Yes.
We're on to something here. So how do you do it without shaming and blaming? You make it fun. You make it a game.
Yes.
So imagine if those body images were on an individual like playing cards.
Mhm.
And on the back was information about whatever that body size. My point is turn it into a game. Might that work in a shop? Do you guys ever have fun and just play?
What they gonna do with your eating habits?
Yeah. Yeah. First of all, the
All
pandemic,
right. Okay. All right. I'm stopping.
you know, folks would come in occasionally and bring food with them when they were coming to wait to get their hair done. You
They'll
know,
bring food with them.
yeah,
Okay.
and then, you're like, oh gosh, this salon smells like French fries. That's not what you want. Or it smells like a cheesesteak. Oh, gee whiz. Yeah, but I'm just saying these things because, with the result of the pandemic, and all of that with, social distancing
Yeah.
and just being more mindful of sanitation and sterilization,
Yeah.
those type of things, the food things stopped.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
So there
Right.
was a way to have people to really think to make better choices. So what can you snack on? What can we offer to our clients? So
Okay.
offer, nice healthy drinks, or we'll
Okay.
offer them, something like an energy bar. Like I have a
Okay.
station, other types of, healthy choices that someone could choose from, whether it is ginger chews or something of that nature, but
All right.
it's not like a Starburst or anything like that. So it's all about making better
I like
choices
that.
and
I
getting
kind of,
on ship to really understand. Listen, it may be difficult right now, okay, to get away from those Tootsie Rolls, but however, here you have on the station, something that is actually made of something that is more beneficial, okay, to your overall health.
all
Um,
right.
and then
Yeah.
that is what I feel that it really works well, and you can actually stir up a conversation.
Yeah.
Stir up a conversation. I love that.
Yeah.
Mayor, we see this every time we set the table with all the problems that we're finding. And one of the warriors comes on and says, here is a solution that can work. I really like that. I still think, Mayor, that, Dr. Butler, you just came right out of the chute. The show is going so fast. I still think we need a pulse beat on this group.
Well, let's do that.
We can do a couple things at once, but all of you think,
Let's go on and do that because
yeah,
we don't want to load our team behind the scene. But let's do this because there's a couple of things I want to do. One is if we can bring up let's say Dorothy Reynolds before we can just bring her up and we're going to start talking with her. Dr. T, tee up the word cloud.
now we asked the question almost the same way since we've started this show about how you're feeling at this moment in the pandemic, in this case, now living with it. We've already heard how the pandemic has given potentially a reboot in so many different ways. So, what word comes to mind right now, Dr. Butler? Think about that word. And for all of you out there for the next 60 seconds, put as many words as possible into that chat. And the team behind the scenes is going to build a word cloud. And those of you out there in social media land, you can use the question and answer box. And the bigger the word, the more people who are saying that word. And while we're having this conversation, Mayor, that can be going on in the background. They'll let us know when that's done. So keep those words coming. Don't worry about spelling. Just get those words in.
We got you. We got you.
What a conversation. It was like a pivot.
Yeah.
I don't like what Dr. Butler described, flipping it and pivoting and giving people a chance to reset their taste buds by the options you make in the business.
Yeah.
And so if you have found snacks, healthy snacks that people like, or businesses like that you want us to patron, this is where we share that information. So it's not just potato chips, candy bars, and basically sugar delivery systems, right, Dr. Ritter? Sugar delivery systems in all of these snacks that are available.
Yeah.
I want
Dr. T, go ahead, Dr.
Go ahead,
Ritter.
Dr.
Go
I
ahead.
Ritter.
just want to add one thing that could be useful information for you to talk to your clients about, and I talk to my patients about. The data has shown now that you can lose weight faster and better with intermittent fasting than reducing calories. And there's a science behind that, and I won't bore you with that right now. But if you eat within 10 hours and then don't eat for 14 hours, as long as you're not eating fructose corn syrup in those 10 hours,
You talk about don't eat for 14 hours, Dr. Ritter?
you only eat within 10 hours. You can
Okay.
pick those 10 hours. But then
Okay.
after dinner, you can't snack before you go to bed.
Oh, okay. So you're talking about while you're sleeping.
You're fasting for 14 hours. Most of that time is while you're sleeping, babe. And then the other thing is if you exercise during those fasting times, you'll lose weight even faster around your waist because you're using your stored fat for your energy and not the food that is in your stomach that you just ate.
Oh, okay.
So Meg is going to drop into the resource bank information on intermittent fasting, information on the Mediterranean diet and the DASH diet. These are all things we need to be talking about in the shop because those conversations are definitely happening.
Yeah.
Those conversations are definitely happening. Thank
Yeah.
you, Dr. Ritter.
Dr. T and team, because I'm coming right back to you.
I got Dorothy here.
Dorothy's. I've elevated her to panel right now, so she's cool. So just hang with me.
And Dorothy was in the
Because
classroom, in the
I
Osterholm
really want to
classroom.
go to and even everybody can talk about this, but what about the culture of eating, right? I mean, people grow up eating certain things because, and that's where their taste buds are fixed very early about the things that they enjoy eating, right? And that's cultural. And it's passed down oftentimes from generation to generation. We cook like our mama cooked or our grandmama cooked, etc. How much of that is adding, Dr. Butler, to our dietary problems and challenges?
Well, our behavior comes from a very early place in our life. And, whether it's grandma, me, mom, whomever, or your mom, uh, you're endeared to that. But my mother, before she passed, it took us 2 years. I created a dessert Lover's Choice cookbook, and I created recipes for Healthy Kids, Smart Kids, which is a book with snacks, different places to purchase the best products from. And so my mother didn't overeat. She was like 5'9", probably 140 pounds. Basically, we lived off vegetables and, fruit, things like that. We didn't have a convenience store because we lived in a rural area. And that was one of the cases that I made to the school system and USDA. I was compared to 4 other schools, same size, population, environment. And I took out all of the a la carte items, all of the processed foods, and I saved the county $300,000.
Mm.
And they were
Wow.
selling a la carte items and they went in the hole. But
Wow.
even with that comparison, so I was 12 years old before we had running water. And what I know is that to eat healthier is really cheaper, but they have to be taught. So I educated my parents. I educated the children. I really educated the children because they control all parents.
Right. That's true.
And
That's the,
so,
yeah, right.
you can put things in a crock pot, a chicken at night. You can make stew, you can make lasagna. And so I have like 2 crock pots, and I'll cook greens. You can even put a pie in there if you want to, as long as it's with cane sugar. And so you teach them. I taught my
Okay.
teachers how to do that. So
All right.
that's my takeaway from this.
Yeah. Hey, let's go down to Pine Bluff, Arkansas, the
Right.
only state that's stated in the Bible, Arkansas. And that means that Noah saw land, looked over the ark and saw land.
Get it right.
Noah looked over the ark and saw land. That's what it was. Arkansas. Like he saw land. He looked over the ark and saw land. That's what it was.
I like that. I like
There you
Noah.
go. Arkansas. That's what Noah did. Yeah, that was in the Bible. Yeah, let's go ahead.
Noah also got off the boat and got drunk. Good
Cane
evening.
sugar.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm from Pine Bluff, Arkansas, as Mary Neal said, and we have Impressive Styles Beauty and Barbershop and Elite Cuts Barbershop. I noticed in our salon that when kids drink fruity drinks. That's when they are swinging around on the barber or stylist chairs, mostly the stylist chairs because they're lighter, but they use it as a seesaw or a merry-go-round.
Okay.
And they're swinging around on them because as soon as they get that sugar in them, they want to rip and run. The salon has an open space in the center of the floor, and you can see them on the camera just running back and forth, back and forth. And the parents don't say anything to them because they are the ones who fed them the sugary drinks. They bring them with them because we have water. We don't have any sugary drinks in the salon at all. We have water. We have filtered water.
Come on, snap it. When they do it good, snap it. That's how we do. That's right.
And we encourage them to drink that filtered water. But of course, at night when we're not there and we can't monitor it, that's when they bring the sugary drinks.
Okay.
But it is an encouragement for the customers without speaking it to drink healthy water because that's all we provide. We don't have a machine in there. And when people come into the salon and they get their hair analysis, what you eat is what you have on your head. Your hair, your diet affects your hair.
All right, keep going.
And I had to learn that myself first. Medication affects your hair. So that's an opportunity for us in the salons to not to talk about the obesity, but to mention to them that how you eat and what you eat affects whether your hair breaks or whether it grows. Your hair grow every month anyway, but if it's not healthy, it will break or shed. And so by informing them of that will help them to become more healthy.
I like that, Dora, because that's why they came to you in the first place. But I do have a question for you, especially when it comes to me and the mayor. Can you do that on the scalp? Scalp hair?
You know something? Let me tell you something. If you all had never started shaving your head and started treating your scalp, your hair would have lasted a little bit longer.
What?
Yes. Now, why?
You're
why
muted.
do you,
You're muted. The mayor's muted. That's rare.
why do you still have?
How long you think? Another week?
You know something? I'm gonna try that. I have a specimen. I'm gonna try it on, and I'll let you know how long it takes. But the thing is, once it starts growing, now when you can't cut it, you just have to live with what's growing.
Okay, I'm working on that now.
So you could have a hole in your afro.
A hole in your afro. You know, Mayor, let's on this moment of levity, let's bring the cloud up.
All right, let's bring the cloud up.
But I just love how each one of
on this moment
of levity, let's bring the cloud up.
All right, let's bring the cloud up.
But I just love how each one of on this moment of levity, let's bring the cloud up.
Hold on, what's that?
But I just love how each one of on this moment of levity, let's bring the cloud up.
Hold on, what's that?
But I just love how each
take
there you
down.
go.
Whatever was happening there, we need to not do that. Okay.
Now come back slowly. There you go.
Okay,
no talking.
there we go.
There we go.
Okay. All right. Let's see.
So here, this is interesting. It's very interesting. What do you see, Mayor?
You know, what people are talking about is practical things. People inhale their food. They only chew it. You know, so maybe if we took more time in chewing our foods, somebody say 32 times, right? Right? Elimination, information, health choices, fruit, lifestyle, discipline, awareness, empower, helpful, well, control, power, excited, self. You know, if you think about it, people are talking about what they can do.
Yes.
And that information is power,
And
right?
it looks like that reboot is there, Dr. Butler. But notice this, Dr. Butler, and for everyone else who's been on the show over the years, these are almost equal in size.
Right. This
And
is one.
so
It's
this is
very
like
unique, isn't it?
consensus. This is
Right.
like consensus around things that they can do. And I think harnessing that is the key. But if you live in an environment where you can't take action, how do we overcome that? And I think I'm hearing one of the ways is that we simply go into those sacred spaces and bring the examples of different foods and snacks. You don't have to give up the taste for sweetness to eliminate fructose corn syrup in our diets.
Mm. You know, Doc, we need to talk about stress and what stress does to our body, because a lot of times it's not just diet.
That's right. That's right.
There are other things that can contribute to weight gain, right? And Dr. Butler, help us out about stress and weight. Unmute, please.
You're
I'm
good.
here. When we talk about stress, you hear people saying about the stress hormones, um, just like not getting enough sleep will cause you to have weight gain as well. But stress, and many times, especially females, you tend to eat comfort foods because they make you feel better for that time. And after that, you're not going to feel so good, but you feel that it'll get you past that moment. But stress has a lot to do with uh, weight as well, because I was in the doctor's office earlier today, and it was a young lady. I know she had to weigh 350, 375,
Mm,
and she had to, she probably was like 27 years old, 26, and she could not hardly breathe, you
mm,
know. And I just sort of looked at her, and she was miserable. And nobody wants to be that size.
yes.
So I don't know what is all going on in her life, but I sort of looked at her clothes and her purse. And so it seems like there was some income coming in, but there were some other things that she was dealing with, just assessing her facially, and when she sat down, it was just, first of all, she's just out of breath. I just said, God, don't let her have a heart attack. But she was caring for her frame, too much weight. And so not only did it appear to be an addiction there, but also a lot of stress there. And stress in itself will cause weight gain.
Scientifically, Dr. Ritter, is there anything that you can add to how stress correlates with
Right.
weight gain?
Right, we know cortisol increases, and cortisol increases our sugars. Like if you take prednisone and you're diabetic, your sugars are going to go up. Your sugars go up higher, but also your total body heat goes up, and then it's like the sugar is it actually caramelizes your arteries. It's how we rust our arteries. When we're overweight, we're overheated and we're really rusting our arteries with caramelizing, just like you would put sugar on beef and put it in the oven. So the stress of that is actually going to make you depressed, and then you slow down, and it just everything falls down like a vortex when you stop moving and eat sugar.
Bring Andre Russell up. Let's go to the ATL down in
Talk
the
about
busiest airport in the whole United States world kingdom. Hey, Andre, how you doing? Unmute, please, sir. Unmute.
unmute, Andre. Unmute, Andre. Andre came to Osterholm's class as well. He had a master class in there. There you go, Andre.
There you go, man. How you doing?
Thank you, gentlemen. How are you?
Doing great.
All good.
I want to just say one or two things real quick.
Okay.
Because you guys always bring me at the last part of the session. But
They say you always stay the best for last. What you gonna get us to stop doing that?
Mayor, I love you and thank you. Dr. Butler,
Yes.
I want to say I love you because years ago you were on panels with my wife and her friends in Rockdale and DeKalb County. Bunny Dunn,
Yeah,
Angeles Young Bay, Patricia Russell.
yes.
So I know your heart is in the right place. I just want to say,
Thank you.
and we're going forward, and that's a wonderful thing.
Thank you.
The other part is when we're talking about BMI, I'm 6'4" and I weigh in advance of 300 pounds. I do everything that everybody says, and there is definitely a problem.
Did you see yourself in the lineup?
No, it didn't go that far.
Okay.
You know what? You set him up for that, Dr. T. You know you're wrong for that, right?
Anyway,
Okay. All
I
right.
was loving Dr. T a minute ago, but Dr. T,
Okay.
I had some positive things.
Okay.
But I'm
Okay.
on the
Keep
next
going.
session.
Keep going. Keep
I'll
going.
put them on the next session. What now? The reality of what I'm trying to do now is within our barbershop community
Yes.
and information that we have through the shots, the wellness information. I am aligning myself, I hope, with Dr. Rodriguez, not Rodriguez, Rutledge, Dr. Rutledge, because he has a school, and I want to try and have him implement things that we are doing in our wellness community within his barbershop schools,
Okay.
developing things as we go. Now,
Wow.
don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to pressure him.
Okay.
Yes, you are. He on the show, and
He's
you
on.
gonna say it in public. So and I'm not pressuring you. What's wrong with you? Yes, you are. Go ahead.
Add to the curriculum. Yes.
Okay, there you go. And I love Dr. I was at his shop just yesterday or the day before, and we have a lot of other things in common. And I'm opening up or trying to open up some more shops.
Okay.
But through my interaction with Dr. Rutledge, I want to bring barbers that are coming into shops that have our wellness information, and they can sit there and not necessarily talk about drama. They will actually talk about things that are happening in the community, things that they can do in the community as barbers. However, I have no intention of asking them to develop doctors. That's not the point. But we can have him develop people that have conversations
Yes.
involve the things that we've been doing. And I can only say, because of my involvement with you guys, you know I love you guys.
Yes.
But I never knew that I could have in my shops, in the malls, where when we had the COVID thing, that I would give out because of my involvement. 1,500 shops at just one damn mall.
Come on, give it up for Andre.
Give it
Come
up,
on.
man. Go
He
ahead, man.
ran
You
out
saved
of
some lives,
vaccine.
Andre.
You did,
You
Andre.
saved some lives, my brother.
But because of you guys, we made a positive step. I have no idea how the total involvement is, but I know that through my involvement, that there were at least 1,500 individuals that did not spread COVID any further, and they did not die from if they had COVID, that it didn't get bad. And through those people, I've heard some people, I'm glad I got the COVID shot. I'm going to get the next one. And that's the thing.
Yeah.
My name is Dr. Russell. All I do is I open up businesses. I try and be positive to people. I love everybody. But when you brought Dr. Butler in here, she is directly involved with my wife and her friends. And damn it, I am more convinced that I've done the right thing.
Right. What you say? See, what I'm saying. Go ahead. Go. That's how the brother dropped the mic. Bang.
Wow.
All right.
Okay, Andre.
All right. Hold up, man. Hold up. We got 6 minutes left, and I have not gone to Cincinnati
You're
yet.
gonna get in trouble out here.
I hadn't gone to Cincinnati yet. I gotta go. I gotta go up to Cincinnati.
So you can forget about that.
Let's go to Cincinnati. Hey, what's up?
Unmute yourself.
Hello,
There you go, Hairport.
everyone.
Hairport
My name
Barber
is
and Beauty Studio. What's going
in
on?
Cincinnati, Ohio. I just want to say that I saw myself on that chart
Okay.
6 years ago. I was the I, and
Okay.
today I'm the A.
Wow.
And the
Well,
reason,
go ahead.
yes, yes. I lost over 90 pounds.
Wow.
And I had a baby late, and because of my eating habits, I couldn't get that weight off of me. So my mom was diagnosed with diabetes 1 year. I know the weight has a lot to do with that.
Yes.
My brother the following year.
Wow.
And when that happened, I went on a journey.
Okay.
And my thing was exercise. I never did not one diet.
Okay.
I walked every day.
There you go.
I cut all drinks as far as Cokes, and I just did water and coffee.
Okay.
And I dropped that weight. So a lot of times when people come into my business who's been with me for years,
yes,
and they're a little overweight, that's where our conversation starts.
Wow. They want to
And
know
I
how you
just
did
tell
it.
them, yeah, I just tell them that they knew that I was doing that. I also do yoga. So, and I
Okay.
also, when you lose that amount of weight, your stomach muscles shrink.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So you can no longer hold that much food or
Wow.
junk. So
Mm.
I saw myself on that chart. That's what I wanted
I
to
am
say.
so
More is
glad to
caught than
hear
is
that.
taught. People learn best by precept and example, Dr. T. You see what's happening there?
Every
Yes.
one of the
Thank you so
warriors
much.
that has come up has given a solution. Amazing.
Absolutely. And that's what this is about, right? All right, let's go. Kim, are you going to hang out with us today? We got Kim.
Kim Ake.
Kim Ake. Okay, come
Hey,
on.
come on, Kim. Unmute
Come
yourself,
on,
Kim.
unmute yourself.
Unmute.
There you go.
Right now, I am in a Family Dollar that is around the corner from my house, and I wanted to show you guys something.
Okay. This is real-time intelligence gathering. That's what they're pushing to the kids.
Wow.
Ooh.
This is
Wow.
at the point of purchase.
Okay.
Because that's where they
tell us what
really
it,
get you.
Tell,
Look
tell us
at
what
that.
it is, Kim. Tell us what it is. Is it full of sugar?
So what it is good to grow is what it says. Good to grow, bigger.
Wow.
Orange mango. What is it? It has vitamin C in it, but then it has a list of ingredients that you don't want to know about.
Wow.
Like it isn't real.
Right.
And you can see it has little dinosaurs on top of it.
Yes.
So it's marketed to children.
Little ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is 8 ounces.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you see what we're up against?
It's exactly. And it's interesting because now I see the addiction. I read a book once. It's called and I'll send it to you,
Yes.
Dr. And it
Sugar
was
blues?
basically sugar addiction, and sugar addiction being so addictive. It's my brother had a drug addiction, and one of the things that they would do is they would give them candy.
Yes.
So when they go into rehab, so they said that it acts on those same neurotransmitters, and Dr. Ritter can kind of help.
Yep.
That it acts on the dopamine centers, and it does the same thing that heroin does.
Pleasure.
pain does and sugar acting in that way. And so it is addictive. And you can see the withdrawal. And also now we can see in the salons, and I don't know if the barbershops are experiencing the same thing, people being on their phones in a
Yeah.
way that's addictive. And I
Yeah.
Right.
think that it has our minds so sped up, and we have to have this synapse thing going all of the
All the
time.
time.
Right.
All the
Being
time.
like sugar.
Now,
Um,
just real quick, Kim, because this is amazing, real time reconnaissance here. What city are you in? And then we're gonna let you go.
okay. I am in Houston, Texas.
Okay. Sweet tea's in there. Houston, Texas.
Yes,
Thanks, Kim.
it
Omar,
I'm
thank
just
you.
letting you know you were incredible, Kim. Thank you
Yes.
so much for sharing with us. Clock on the wall says time for us to get up out of here,
Yeah.
Dr. D.
Can you
Uh,
believe that, man?
uh,
Real
I-
time intelligence from the field.
right. But that's
All right,
that's
gotta do
how
this
that's
again.
how that's how we roll, man. You can't make this up. This was not planned. This is
Nope.
very authentic,
Come on now.
organic kind of exchange.
That's right.
But Dr. Butler would know that, based on knowing me and being around me for so many years, that this is how we roll. Dr. Butler, you're incredible.
Thank
You
you.
have a friend for life, and I told you that many, many years ago, and that remains intact. You are an integral part of the Cutting Edge show now. So we will be calling on you to bring your expertise in many different areas, but you have a way of just reaching people where they are and putting it plain. I say putting it where the cows can get it.
Oh my
You have a
God.
way of
Well,
doing
it's
that.
where I've been, so
Absolutely.
yeah,
Thank
So we
you.
certainly appreciate you so
thank you.
very much. Dr. Ritter, as always, you are a yeoman. You're a champ. I mean, you one of those people that if I'm going to ever go into battle, I'm going to take
There
Dr.
you
Ritter
go.
with me,
There we
right?
go.
Because she's always going to be there. She's a soldier, right? And so thank you so much for what you do. Dr. Cooper, thank you so much for all that you do to support the Cutting Edge show. You're just there, you're present, and whatever you need to do, you are always there to be there to add substance to the conversation. Sandra Jenkins, thank you so much for all what you do. And I'm doing roll call today. I
This
don't
was
often do it.
amazing.
I'm going to do it for a reason. Thank you for what you do. I love you. Your smile illuminates the world. If the sun don't come out, you can smile and the whole world of see light. You have that kind of spirit. Arkansas,
Pine
Dorothy,
Bluff.
Pine Bluff. I know Pine Bluff, but I'm playing on my Arkansas.
There you
Nora
go.
looked over to Arkansas. Right. That's how I'm going back to that. But Dorothy Reynolds in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, because you are part of an example, you always saying what I'm doing, not what I'm just
Yeah.
saying, but what I'm
Yeah.
doing. And you always are intentional about doing that in your shops. Uh, uh, Andre Russell, I ain't forgot about you. I didn't make you last this time to make you know that you don't always be last, but we
Well,
just we like the exchange that we have. And
Right.
and 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 so it's always wonderful, man. We love you so much, and we thank you for what you do.
I just want to say one thing before you guys cut me off the final time.
Okay, I just cut you off.
Oh,
Okay,
no,
go ahead.
I know it's coming. Dr. Butler,
Yes, sir.
uh, the people that you served on these boards like years ago, like
Yes.
my wife and some of the people that they went to school with, I never knew you, but my wife was telling me, she said, we know her. We know her. We know her.
She would remember
Thank
that.
you.
She said you are
Dr.
what you
Butler's
eat.
a star, man.
Yeah,
Go,
she said
go,
you are
go.
what you eat. She
Yeah,
keeps telling me
yeah.
you should remember. But at any rate,
Thank you.
we're down here in
In
Conyers.
any rate, bye.
Here we
Bye.
go.
So
There you
I'm
go.
trying
There
to.
you
I'm
go.
trying. Oh,
There you go.
man,
You are what you
you'll
eat.
do it to me every time. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay.
You
All
you see,
right.
Dr. Butler, the energy in the field. And that's what they bring. That's what they've been bringing over the past 4 years. Come on,
Absolutely.
Omar, get us out of here.
Let me go. I can't, not since I started, I got to finish.
Right.
Gregory Rutledge, thank you so much, sir,
Oh, yeah,
for what you
the
do
school.
and what you're doing. Kim, thank you so much for being there. Houston,
Wow.
to give us
Real
real time reconnaissance on what's happening out there. Cincinnati.
Come on now.
My girl, she always did. But you have very few people who are, you have a lot of stylists that are women, but she's
Yeah.
a barber.
There you go.
That's a woman. I mean, it's incredible, and we just love her so much. I call her Cincinnati because that's one of my favorite places. I was on radio there as well. There's one time the Buzz, right? And Sharon Cooper. Did I say?
Yeah, you did, Sharon. You laid
I said
Sharon out.
Sharon. Did I miss anybody?
I don't think
All
so.
right, Meg, Meg, I want you to bring up, and the reason why I went through everybody is because we lost one of our people.
Yes, we
And
did.
it's a heartbreaking thing for those
Yeah.
who have been a part of the Cutting Edge show.
Wow.
Dr. Fred Prim, who has been with us on many occasions on the show, passed away. And so we don't know when that time is for us. But my mother used to sing a song called Hold to God's Unchanging Hands. And the first verse of that song is, time is filled with swift transition. Naught on earth unmoved can stand. Build your hopes on the things eternal. Hold to God's unchanging hand. I'm so glad that Dr. Prim was an example of holding to God's unchanging hand. We're going to miss you, my brother. We love you, and Godspeed to you. And with that being said, I'd like to leave you with these two words. Remember that I love you with a perfect love. But more importantly, remember this. You got the power. Until the next Cutting Edge show, take care of yourself. You owe it to yourself. Bye-bye.
Health is wealth. Bye.